dimly lit apartment. Daniel sits across from Sarah at a dinner table. Candles. He's smiling. She's laughing. Everything looks perfect. He was the most charming person you'd ever met. Attentive. Funny. He made you feel like the only person in the room. The smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. But charm in the wrong hands is not a gift. It's a tool. And you were about to find out exactly how it gets used. Every level of narcissism ranked from level 1 to level 7. Level 1. The people pleaser. Daniel at work, laughing too loudly at his boss's joke. Marcus watches, slightly puzzled. Daniel refills everyone's coffee without being asked, hovering, eager. Level 1 narcissism doesn't look dangerous. It barely looks like narcissism at all. Daniel agrees with everyone. He volunteers for everything. He desperately needs people to like him, not because he's kind, but because without their approval, he feels like nothing. Daniel alone in a bathroom at a work party, staring at himself in the mirror, straightening his clothes, rehearsing a smile that doesn't look real. This is narcissistic vulnerability. The deep, hollow feeling that you are fundamentally not enough, and the exhausting performance required to hide it. At level 1, the narcissist is their own first victim, and they could even barely notice it. Level 2. The subtle shift. Daniel and Sarah on a couch. She's telling a story, happy and excited. Daniel's eyes drift to his phone. She notices. He looks up and says something that makes her laugh, but we see him clock her reaction like data, not emotion. Something changes quietly at level 2. The need for approval starts becoming something else. The need for control over approval. Daniel stops trying to earn admiration. He starts engineering it little by little. At a dinner party, Daniel subtly interrupts Sarah mid-story to finish it himself, adding details that make him the interesting one. Sarah smiles politely. Marcus notices. He doesn't do it aggressively. He does it smoothly. A redirect here, a small correction there. Slowly, in every room, he becomes the center of attention. And the people around him? They're not people anymore. They're an audience. Level 3. The charmer. Daniel at a rooftop party. He's magnetic. Different groups, everyone laughing, women leaning in, men wanting to impress him. Sarah watches from across the room, proud but slightly uneasy. Level 3 is where most people meet narcissism and call it charisma. Daniel is electric at this stage. He reads rooms like a book. He knows exactly what each person needs to hear, and he delivers it with precision. You can see Daniel leaning into a conversation with a new woman at the party, his full attention locked on her. Sarah sees it, but watch closely. His attention is never given, it's deployed. Every compliment is an investment. Every connection is a transaction that won't go for free. Later that evening, Sarah in the car, quiet. Daniel drives, unbothered, humming to music. She refuses to say anything. The people who love a level 3 narcissist often describe the same feeling, like standing in sunlight that keeps moving. You're always just slightly in the shade. You see this happening, but you still say nothing. Level 4. The Gaslighter. Daniel and Sarah in their apartment. A tense conversation. Sarah looks upset. She's found messages on his phone. Daniel's expression doesn't panic. It shifts calm, almost clinical. This is where it stops being subtle. At level 4, the narcissist has identified their primary source, the person who gives them the most emotional supply, and they begin to manage that person's reality, realizing they are in control. Daniel speaking slowly, calmly, looking Sarah directly in the eyes. You're being paranoid again. You know how you get. I'm worried about you, honestly. Sarah's face looks confused, confusion replacing certainty. She looks at the phone, then at him, then back. Gaslighting isn't about lying. It's about making the other person doubt their own perception. Daniel doesn't deny the messages. He reframes Sarah's reaction as the problem. Sarah apologizing. Daniel pulling her into a hug. You can see Daniel's eyes cold in his thoughts. And when it works out, and it almost always works at this stage, the narcissist learns something dangerous. That reality is negotiable. Place the right bid and you will get what you want. Level 5. The Puppet Master. A wider view of Daniel's life. His apartment. His friend group. His relationship. Everything arranged around him like he could see the future. By level 5, the narcissist isn't just managing one person. They're managing an ecosystem. Daniel having a private conversation with Marcus, subtly planting seeds of doubt about another friend. Marcus nods, not realizing he's being steered. He controls the narrative in his social circle. He knows who likes who's insecure about what, and he uses that information not maliciously in his own mind but automatically. It's just how he moves through the world now. Sarah on the phone to her sister, starting to say something worrying, then stopping, editing herself, looking toward the bedroom where Daniel is. His victims begin self-censoring not because he told them to, but because they've learned unconsciously what reactions are safe and which ones cost them. This is the most invisible form of control. The cage has no bars. The door is open, but she doesn't leave. I guess most of you watching this right now might have gotten to this stage at some point but still couldn't act right. Level 6. The Malignant Narcissist. The tone shifts. Warmer colors gone. Daniel's apartment feels colder, cleaner, more controlled. Sarah looks tired, smaller. Most narcissists never reach level 6. Those who do are no longer simply protecting a fragile ego. They have fused their identity with dominance itself. Daniel sits across from Sarah at the same dinner table. This time, no candles. He's speaking. She's nodding, eyes slightly vacant. At this level, empathy isn't just low, it's been replaced. Where most people feel something when they see pain in someone they love, Daniel feels something closer to interest. Information. Leverage. Sarah finally says something, quietly standing up for herself. A flicker of the old her. Daniel's expression, not anger. Something colder. A slow smile. The malignant narcissist doesn't fear your strength. They find it useful. Because now they have something to dismantle. Level 7. The Predator. Daniel alone. This time no Sarah. No Marcus. A new apartment. A new person across from him at dinner. Candles. Charm. The smile that doesn't reach the eyes. Level 7 is not a person who went wrong. It's a person who was never oriented toward others to begin with. There is no vulnerability underneath. No wounded child. No redeemable core waiting to be unlocked by the right love. The new person across from Daniel, laughing, leaning in, completely unaware of who she's with. At this level, people are resources. Relationships are systems. And the narcissist moves through lives the way a fire moves through a building, completely and without looking back. You can see now, the warm candlelight, the laughter, everything looking perfect. It looks exactly like level 1. Here's what psychology actually tells us about narcissism. It is not a choice and it is not fixed. It exists on a spectrum in all of us to varying degrees. The question worth asking isn't, is this person a narcissist? The better question is, which level are they at? And more importantly, which level are you willing to accept? Sarah, alone in a new apartment, sunlight through curtains. She looks tired, but something in her eyes has returned. She picks up her phone and calls her sister. Awareness is not a cure, but it is the only exit that can cure it, only when you choose to accept the fact that this is real and let go. We will see you in the next one. Please subscribe and like, as we dive more into the reality of the human psychology and behavior.